Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode. Welcome back to Afrolit. If you've been listening, thank you for joining us on this season. Wow, we really made it to the last episode of season 5. Oh my gosh. Pick up my coffee, clap for yourselves. And if this is the first episode that you listen to, go back and watch and listen to everything. But yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Wow. What a time. What a time. What a time. It was a time last night, and it has not been last night. It has not. Um, I think it's been beautiful to just see, if you've been listening since way back in the day till this point, you know that it has been a very, very interesting journey. It's been a long journey. But I'm excited because it's a new direction, it's a new path. It's a new identity that has taken over, a new space, a new studio. Everything's new. It's that brand new car smell. So I just feel like, I wanted to let you into the kind of the madness. Well, not really madness, but just like the space and the mindset that all of this has kind of taken place in. And if you go back to the first episode of the season, I think you can see that I was still figuring it out, and I'm still figuring it out, So I'm lucky to have an amazing producer who, by the way, was on an episode. So check that out, Amanda. Shout out. She's even in the room.
Hello.
But I think that it's been beautiful to just see how everything came together because, Afrolit's my baby and all of you are my little, I don't want to say, I don't know. I don't have a word for the crew. Y'all are the crew and that's it. We're just going to do that for now. And then hopefully one of y'all will come up with a name for what the crew, because I don't want to, I feel like Justin Bieber didn't make the Believers. You know what I mean? Like that's what they created for themselves. So we'll figure that out as we go because it's all new, right? New journey, new steps. But yeah, it's been fun, and I can't have any favorites, like, because I'm sure it's like, oh, what was your favorite episode? It's like, no, I don't know. I love all my children. I love all my friends. I love all the people that I have involved. Like, I can't choose one, why have one? I can have them all, for real. So I'm just grateful, honestly. That's been like the main word. Like grateful to be in this position right now. Grateful to have the people that have come on. Grateful for even, the redirections I had to take for real, cuz it's not easy, the main thing of the podcast game is logistics. Like if you're trying to do this, just know that probably majority of your time will be spent in organizing how you're going to speak. Like this part that you get to enjoy is, yes, a part of it, but it's a part of the pie. There is so much more that goes into the work to make this whole thing come together. And there was no way that I was going to do that alone. And so I knew that I needed to take the hiatus that I needed to, the refresh actually, that I needed to, because yeah, that's really what this life is about. Ooh. But all of that being said, it's nice to be nice and have someone with me in this journey. And so, yeah, we should take a Afrolit trivia break. You know the drill. You know how it goes if you've been tuning in. I had fun with Amanda playing this game. And so, yeah, she's flipping it and reversing it on me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put the laptop on because apparently the answer's on here. But, I like to kind of
be truthful.
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest for the squad. I'm going to be honest for the crew. So.
You can't, give away all the answers to you.
Oh, my.
You might know some of them. Hopefully you don't remember it.
Because I know, right? They are. She recycled. She reduced.
We're trying to work.
She recycled, yo.
Trying to work smart, not harder.
That is the motto of this life. Work smarter, not harder.
Okay, we're going to try to do rapid.
Okay, rapid fire. Okay.
What was considered the first fashion capital of Africa?
Ivory Coast.
What city?
Oh, Abidjan.
Okay, fine. I was hoping you don't remember
coming
that,
in
okay.
hot.
Okay,
Gang, gang.
what was the first African designer to show at NY Fashion Week? Oh, pause. Yes, you don't know this.
I feel like, David Tale.
Okay, yes, that's correct.
I know, it's like
Okay.
unfortunately, it's like muscle
Muscle memory.
memory. Because I came up with these, y'all. Like, I'm the beauty and the brains. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna give you one this is gonna be the last one because
Okay.
you know the other choice, but I'll do
Okay.
this one. I came up with this one. So, okay. What I hope I didn't tell you this. What is the most widely spoken African language by population?
Oh, Swahili.
Okay, by what number? How much? How many people?
Shay. Number? I want to say like 50 million.
Is that your final answer?
Internally screaming. Yes, it's my final answer.
Wrong answer. It's actually 200 million.
Wow.
And I had to Google this just to make sure. Yoruba is the second one. And guess what the number is for that? That was your answer, 45 million.
Only?
That's the gap. That's the gap.
Wow. So everybody, if you're watching this, you need to start learning and speaking Swahili like today.
Now, like today, like yesterday, really.
Yesterday.
Like you're late. What's your first word? Mambo.
Poa.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
If I say mambo, you don't know what to say back to me, you need to go back to class.
Yes. Class is in session, okay? No. Afrolit is about to start teaching, dropping words. Maybe that's a new segment that we need to bring. Like Swahili word of the day.
Yes.
So that you can go and learn, wow, literally, Swahili takeover, Swahili domination.
Yeah.
Clearly.
We're next.
Clearly,
everybody knows
we're
Yoruba.
the ones that you didn't know were coming. And now we are here. Inside. Within. And we're not leaving because 200 million. How are we going to stop 200 million people coming at you?
No.
Impossible. Wow. Wow. That was a good one. That was very on brand. Love that. Love that. Love that for us. Love that for us. Oh my gosh. Yeah. 45 million. Oh my God. What? Yeah, no. Clearly, I know what language wins the war. Even though, no, they're all our brothers and sisters, as Ludi said. But yes, picking back up from that was really cool. I love that. Thank you, Amanda. Shout out to Amanda. But yes, I just wanted to take time to reflect back on these 5 episodes. I was able to have Patricia Kihoro and Ludi on the show, and I think it's actually so amazing that I was able to feature women this season and have only women guests and African women guests. And I think that most importantly, it was fruitful because I just wanted to hear what they had to share. There's so much that's happening in the world as we speak, and there's plenty of places where you can go and get pop culture and news and all of that. But I think the beauty about Afrolit is that my specific lens is about highlighting, yes, what is current and what's fresh, but also tying it into life experiences from that African lens, highlighting what's lit, what's poppin'. But I think that there is something beautiful about personal experience, and so you can't really take away anyone's personal experience. That's something that they had to live through, they had to journey through, they had to kind of reconcile with, they had to fight within themselves, and now they were able to kind of rise from that perspective and from that place. And so yeah, being able to provide that type of community, being able to provide that type of space and honesty is really what this space is about. And I'm just excited to have y'all a part of that journey. But it's hard because I think that there's a level of, openness that I have to also have with myself, because people only will show up. Everyone is a mirror. And that's one thing I definitely saw in this season for myself, in that as I've matured, as I've grown in certain areas, as I've stayed in certain areas, there's certain things that I've seen come out of come out of some of the guests that I've had. And I don't know, I think that it's something that when I do try to have like, because I talk to myself, y'all. I mean, clearly I am talking to myself, but I definitely do talk to myself with when I'm alone, and like that's I feel like my own personal journaling in a way. And I need to probably get into the voice note journaling because that would be better for me. But when I'm having like that internal monologue, and like just reflecting on like how maybe my day went or how this week has been or how this month has been, and doing that sort of personal, having that personal time, yeah, I've noticed how certain things that whether they were told to me or whether I just, absorb them from like the content that I was watching or something, like it really all plays into that. And like we can have like our diet also includes what we consume other than like the things that we eat. But it's also the things that we listen to, the things that we watch, the places that we go. Like all of that is like curated and can help improve or kind of detract from the things that you want. And so, yeah, just taking stock in that, and also from understanding that, also then seeing and knowing the place that I want to provide content and what I want to show up as, because I want to be a part of someone's journey in that reflection moment too. And in that process of figuring out who I am and what I'm doing, and knowing that and affirming that I'm on the right path. Because I think that so much of what we consume is like kind of fear mongering you, or like making you feel that you're not doing enough, or what your perspective is, or like who you are, whether you're, not from America or wherever you're from. You feel like, oh, okay, I need to be following this person's path, or I need to be doing XYZ. And it's like, no, exactly where you are right now is okay. And as long as you're taking like a daily practice and a daily step towards figuring out what it is that you want, then you're doing something good, and it doesn't have to be this like grandiose, perfect situation. That it can just be showing up and believing that this is what you want to do. You're having fun with it. You can take different paths on it. Like, I think Patricia's a great example of that. She didn't even get too much into what she actually does, but just seeing how much anxiety and like pressure she even feels. And by the way, she has, you know what I mean? Like when you look at the metrics and the followers and whatever, like she has all of that and still needs to take breaks and still needs to be affirmed in that she's on the right path. It just goes to show you that like that thing is never going away. Like it doesn't matter when you make it. It doesn't matter if you're a celebrity. It doesn't matter if you're, I don't know, like it doesn't matter. Like that is, I think, a part of our human discourse. And I think even more so as Black people, as Africans, we need to take stock in that, because I think that's something that we sometimes just neglect and think that that's something that, oh, money will fix, or when I'm able to relax, it will, you know what I mean? Like anxiety is not real. Like I just need to pray it away. I just need to, which is a part of the process. But I think too, it's understanding that you are multifaceted even in how you show up. So it's like you can still show up and be talented and gifted and still carry the fear of, oh, it's not good enough, and still feel like, oh, okay, I have to do more because this piece of work, whether it's like sending the email or organizing your content or whatever, or however you perform, it still needs to be crafted in a certain way. And it's like, none of that is real. You get to set the standard of what that looks like. And I think for me, it was really coming to terms with that, And it's like, dang, like, how do I make all these decisions right now? Like, I'm just trying to figure out what to wear. I'm just trying to figure out what color to make my hair. Like, should I actually dye my hair or should I just braid it a different color, which you can see what I went with. But yeah, it's all of these different things. All of that matters, as women, as men, as children of God, as all of that stuff. It really does make a difference. And I think as we start to embrace our full selves, it's also understanding that there can be mistakes within that. And like you're allowed to change. you're allowed to change. The first answer might be correct for a moment, and then it can change to a different answer because you've acquired more knowledge. I am the total person in the group chat that will be like, I believe one thing, say one thing, and then it's like, actually, after more investigation and knowledge, I now take it back. Or I actually like it. You know, I'm actually that meme that girl that like tries it. It's like, and it's like, okay, that tastes good.
No. Well,
you know, because it's like, why? Like, and I do believe it's a societal thing, but it's also just like, I don't know why we're so ingrained in like, you said this and this is what you, and it's like, this is where you stand. And it's like, no, you're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to change. You're allowed to grow. You're allowed to move. You're allowed to have all of these things, just like the meme. You are not a tree. You can move.
You are not a tree. You can move.
That's right. That's right.
You know, you have that. We all have that. And it's like, I want to be an advocate for that. I want Afrolit to be a space to do that, especially for my Black and brown people, African people, anyone who can find themselves and like who is in that creative space, who wants to delve deeper into that creative space. And so, yeah, I feel like that's my TED Talk. That's my TED Talk. But honestly, really, I think what's interesting now is how do we step into the future? So what does Afrolit look like? What's my 5-year plan? Tell me your goals, you know, if this were a date. And it's like, I don't know. No, I'm kidding. I mean, there's so much, like, no one could, I always use the example of COVID, right? Because no one could have predicted COVID, even though that's not the best example. But it's like, you know what I mean? This thing happened, and we've kind of learned how to deal with it. Not that Afrolit is something I'm dealing with, but it's more in terms of understanding the state of media, understanding the state of business, like all of these things. Like, yes, we do it, and it's fun, and it's cool, and it's like, you get to show off and have all these cameras, and But there's actually a business that happens around this, and it's exciting, and it's also very, very personal, you know what I mean? Because you hear my voice, all of these things, understanding IP, understanding copyrights, like how do I maintain that balance is really tricky, y'all. I have nothing else to explain to that other than like, I think the more that I understand it, the more I realize how important it is to have a team and have people who I can really just delegate stuff off to. And yes, even if, you know, the budget is still, you know, we working on it, you know, working for the man. We trying to build and we're doing that, but also having people who can understand, okay, this is the budget, this is what I'm working within. How can I also make it easier, and how can I format myself so that if my editor is here, if the producer Amanda is here, whoever is working with me can kind of see that there's a rotation, see how things are kind of laid into place. It already makes it easier for the whole process to work together. And so just understanding that, has made me see like, there's no formula to this thing. You know, there's no formula to, I mean, yes, certain businesses have certain ways that things have to be done. But I think when it comes to creativity, the beauty is that there is no formula. There is no format. There's no cookie cutter way for this to work because we're creating it as we go. And whatever we serve, y'all can enjoy, or you can tune out, or you can just see what happens. You know what I mean? But either way, we're still figuring it out. And I'm still a part of that process. And I'm still very much so, as much as I am involved in the creative side and in the content side, I think it's also really important to be involved in the business too. And just to understand like how advertising works, how these things actually do turn into a career, because then you don't even know where to shoot at. You know what I mean? Like you have to understand your targets so you know exactly where to go, you know? And it's like you can still have that 5-year plan and like, it may not go exactly the way you want, but it's important to know what direction we're going in and what direction I need to be able to lead everyone in, because nothing is really going to move unless the content is superb, you know, because that's what this is all about. And so yeah, I think doing that, but then also recognizing that, yo, there are celebs in this game, and there are people, of course, who've been doing this for a very long time. And also that crossover between radio and music and stuff has also amplified this. But I think, too, just understanding that it needs to be more African women. There needs to be, especially in the US. I feel like London, and maybe, I'm an outsider looking in, so I don't know. And so the London babes who are listening, correct me if I'm wrong. But I feel like there seems to be more of a structure in terms of how podcasts and things in that media realm are done. And like they have sort of their heavy hitters in that versus in the US because of how media is consumed and it is more TV, Hollywood movies. There's a leniency towards that. And then again, I feel like there isn't enough platforms that highlight like immigrants and highlight people who maybe didn't grow up here but have spent their whole lives here, and that intersection, and so I think being in that space, being independent in that space, making it work. So make sure to subscribe to Patreon. You're probably tuned in if you're watching this, but it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I understand also the value that I bring, and I understand the value that I know needs to be showcased, but it's like when there's so few and far in between of those like me, it's really hard to find like true allies, true partnership, true collabs, because it's like, people are on a higher pedestal and maybe are making so much money from it already. So it's like they see it more as like a you need me versus them needing me. And it's like I'm in a space now where it's like I do want to navigate across. I want to help others who want to start a podcast. I want to help others who want to figure out what part they can play. Like not all of this is about like being the star or being the face or any of that. Like there is a lot of back end stuff that has to take place. And so we do need more engineers. We do need more people who can understand sound. We need more photographers and videographers within this space so that we can know how to do these things and work with each other and help each other have all these accolades that comes with that, So I think as we continue to grow, as I continue to learn, I think there definitely needs to be more shining light on different people, shining a light on different stories, and I definitely plan on doing that. And so what happens next? So what's next? Your parents always ask you like, so what's next? What's on the plan? What's the plan? And it's like, I ain't got no plan. But no, I'm excited to just have more creativity, have more creatives, have more people from around the diaspora, around the continent coming into New York. Some names more names maybe you don't know so that you can discover. I feel like a lot more tangible arts, so painters, creative directors, comedians, all of that jazz. So if you're interested, definitely hit me up, hit up Amanda, because, yeah, that's how you'll find out more about Afrolit. And, of course, staying in touch with us on socials. But I'm definitely trying to have a live show. I feel like it's time. It's time. The live show thing, though, has been kind of daunting because it's like, okay, will I have like a full episode situation? I mean, of course, you've seen the segments, you've seen the trivia, you've seen the as seen on social media. There's different games that I have up my sleeve. There's different music that I want to have as well. I want to have like breakouts. So it's like I need to flesh that out because I feel like it really could be a show, and have like different elements and then surprise guests. It's like, wow, wow, wow. But then it's like, ooh. The budget. The budget, though. The budget. But, that's why shout out to the sponsors. Shout out to the new sponsors that are coming in and all the people that are supporting, because I think that that's what's also going to amplify it, because it's all about community, really, for me, at least. It's all about building the Afrolit squad. It's all about building around that, too, because I think that we all have something to offer. And I think even from my first episode to this now solo episode, I think I've noticed and seen even within myself the power that comes from community, and like just trusting that too, like trusting how it will unfold, trusting that there's more people for you than against you, that really, truly, that you can have something that's good and people can have fun. So how I am going about that is only by the grace of God, but also importantly, just understanding that I can have multiple lanes. We're shifting gears, we're shifting things. So that's really the premise of it, and I'm excited. I mean, I think what's next is also what is helping me decide how I want to look at seasons beyond, how I want to format things, and all of that jazz. But yeah, I would say stay with it, y'all. You're here, so you might as well just stay within. Like, you have no choice but to stay with it. Well, you do have a choice, but as you stay within, you also get to contribute to something too, and you get to see it unfold. And I think that's the beauty with having something that is, well, independent, but also having something that is refreshed and new, is that like there are so many more possibilities and there isn't one way to accomplish it. So that's one thing I'm excited definitely for. And I think that's how I'm defining myself too. I'm defining myself within this refresh, and I think I get more and more clarity the people that I have on. And I think, delving back to what I said before, creating that space for people to see themselves in all of the different people that I bring, and not just having like one direct, and taking nuggets from every single person. So you can feel educated, you can feel informed. Also, you can have fun. You can listen to all the different people that I have on, and like even seeing how multi-dimensional they are as well, So yeah. And I mean, how can I end this episode without even asking myself the one question that I would ask all of my guests, which was, what would I tell my 10-year-old self? Well. So I'm like, I'm playing with my hands like I have something wise to say, and it's really not. It's really not. I think I would just tell her to just, and so many other guests have said this, but just to be patient. There is so much more that comes to life when you wait and as you build, and like none of these things could be rushed. None of these things could have happened sooner than before, because I know so much. I mean, of course, I wanted to have so much of this already, Afrolit even already done earlier in my life because of how earlier I started this. But I think too, I've learned so much about myself, about so many other people, meeting new people, having new people joining me on this. So I would say truly trusting myself, truly believing that everything that I want is possible, that there are, people who have come. I'm not creating a new wheel, I'm not doing any of that. I don't need to do any of that, but I am putting a stamp on this earth, even if it's in this twisted, crazy way or, minuscule way. It's still an imprint, and everyone around the world has that imprint as well. And we need more imprints. We need more people not to chicken out. We need more people to actually show up and be confident in the areas and in the spaces that they love and enjoy, and that it doesn't have to be one singular thing, that it can be multiple things. Like, I can be multifaceted in the fact that, I do DJ, I do have this podcast, of course, and I do support others. I have my own project management, like life as well. So it's not that I have to be all these different things. Oh, well, it's not that I have to choose one thing within all these different things, that I can dedicate time and have priorities to certain things like Afrolit. But that doesn't mean that all of those things just die and they're in a corner and I have to do them. Maybe they turn into hobbies. Maybe they turn into other avenues of income. I don't know yet. And that's the joy of it. Like, we get to choose. Like, we are, as much as the main character energy is a lot, is also true. Like, you are the main character of your life. So it's like you get to decide how you want to go about this. And no one else, doesn't matter who, no one else gets to define that for you. So with that being said, to be patient like the soil of the ground.
That was wise.
That is the Holy Spirit, y'all, because I don't know where that came from. But yes, to really just allow that to set in and grow and let the flowers grow. I see what I did there. I brought it back. But yes, I'm excited. And by the time you're listening to this, it's probably Desi December or you're on your holidays. And so I just pray and thank you all for tuning in. Wow. Season 5 for the books. I have been your host, Ekua PM. Enjoy the holiday. I'm gonna enjoy this break of mine, but we coming in hot. 2023 coming in so hot. So definitely stay tuned, subscribe, follow me on all social platforms as Ekua, my first name, EKUA.PM. And yeah, if you want to hear if there's somebody you want on the show you think I would be a vibe with, like, this is, as much as it is Afrolit's the team, it's also interactive as well, so I appreciate all the love, I appreciate all the feedback. Thank you so much, and until next time, bye.